was a dark and stormy night, the kind that sets the stage for spine-chilling tales. As I entered my empty home, the creaking floorboards seemed to echo with a foreboding tone. Little did I know that this ordinary evening would transform into a harrowing night of fear and uncertainty. The ominous silence of the house was interrupted only by the howling wind outside. As I settled in, the flickering lights added an eerie ambiance to the living room. Unease crept over me, intensified by the shadows that danced ominously on the walls. My attempts to shake off the discomfort proved futile, as a subtle sense of dread lingered in the air. The clock struck midnight, and an inexplicable chill swept through the room. Suddenly, a series of unexplained noises echoed from the depths of the house. My heart raced as I strained to identify the source, dismissing it as mere house-settling sounds. But the unnerving feeling persisted, growing more palpable with each passing moment. Attempting to quell my rising anxiety, I decided to distract myself with a book. However, the words on the pages seemed to blur together as my mind remained fixated on the unexplained noises. The subtle hum of the refrigerator became an ominous symphony, and every distant sound outside morphed into a potential threat. As I tiptoed through the dimly lit hallway, the creaking floor beneath me seemed to echo louder than ever. Shadows played tricks on my imagination, transforming mundane objects into sinister figures in the periphery of my vision. The once familiar surroundings now felt like a labyrinth of hidden dangers. The storm outside intensified, unleashing a torrent of rain against the windows. Each raindrop sounded like an ominous knock, heightening my paranoia. I questioned my decision to be alone on such a night, the isolation magnifying the fear that had taken root within me. A sudden power outage plunged the house into complete darkness. Panic set in as I fumbled for a flashlight, my trembling hands betraying my attempts to maintain composure. Alone in the pitch-black void, my imagination ran wild, with visions of unseen entities lurking in the shadows. Struggling to navigate through the blackness, I stumbled upon an old family portrait. The faces staring back at me seemed to come alive in the feeble beam of my flashlight, their eyes reflecting an otherworldly glow. A shiver ran down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The intermittent flicker of the flashlight cast fleeting glimpses of unfamiliar shapes in the corners of the rooms. Every sound, every unexplained draft, fueled the growing terror within me. The once secure walls of my home now felt like a fragile barrier between me and the unknown. In a desperate attempt to regain control, I decided to call a friend, seeking solace in their voice. Yet, as I dialed the number, a disconcerting realization washed over me. The eerie silence on the other end of the line. Was I truly alone, or was there an unseen presence lurking in the shadows, listening to my every move? The sound of footsteps echoed through the house, sending shivers down my spine. Fear immobilized me as I strained to identify the source of the ominous sound. The rational part of my mind urged me to believe it was a figment of my imagination, but the irrational fear persisted, paralyzing me in my own home. As the night wore on, the storm outside mirrored the tempest within my mind. Every creak, every rustle, heightened my sense of vulnerability. I questioned the safety of the very place that was meant to be my refuge. Finally, with the first light of dawn breaking through the curtains, the night of terror began to wane. The once haunted house now appeared ordinary, as if the malevolent forces had retreated with the darkness. Exhausted, shake the lingering unease that clung to the air. The ordinary had been tinged with the extraordinary, and the once comforting embrace of home now held a residue of fear. That night, I learned that even the most familiar spaces can transform into realms of terror when the imagination is left to its own devices. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell for more creepy and terrifying stories. See you again.